Welcome to NOLA.com. Larry Holder, Jeff Duncan here with you as the Saints pull off one of the craziest wins probably in franchise history, at least any game we've ever covered, maybe in our life, as the Saints win 52-49 over the Giants. They're now 4-4. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. I know that's the big overall picture of this, but this game is too absurd not to dissect, Jeff. I know you wrote your column specifically on the game and all of the craziness within it. Anything like this you've seen really within the NFL in the last several years? I'd probably say no.
No, not football. You know what it reminded me of, Larry, was I covered a game when I worked at the Monroe News Star, an LSU basketball game, and some old school fans will remember it, when Loyola Marymount came to town in 1990, played against Shaq. It was 148-141.
I do remember that game, yes.
Nationally televised game. That's what it reminded me of. It was so hectic back and forth, all the scoring. It was hard to wrap your head around what was going on. And I think afterward, even the players and coaches in the locker room were talking about it. They couldn't wrap their heads around what was going on. And they were in the middle of it, making it happen. So, yeah, it was a remarkable day. And if you were here watching it in the stadium, that'll be one you tell your kids about.
Yeah, and you talk to any of the players, and their reaction was the same. Craziest game they've ever been a part of. And on the other side of the coin, Drew Brees, one of the best games we've ever seen from him, and that says a ton. 7 touchdowns, 500 yards passing. He simply shredded the Giants.
Yeah, dissected them. We're not going to have to worry about people emailing us wondering if Drew Brees' shoulder is hurting him and his arm strength. He was a master today. I mean, we've seen some incredible games out of him in his career, and today was off the charts. And they needed it because, Eli Manning was just as good on the other sideline. It was just, incredible football. Those guys, I didn't even feel like the defense, there were some blown coverages by the Giants, but I just felt like these two guys were hot. They were two players with hot hands. It kind of reminded me, you're a tennis player, of like two big servers, and they were just hitting howitzers right and left, and it was just who's going to get the ball last, and that's kind of what it came down to. Right,
and then you mentioned Eli Manning. It's like 1 week the defense looks like it's turning a corner, and then this week Eli Manning combined a hot hand, and yet we saw a lot of issues, and so it's amazing though that the Saints each and every week for the last 5 weeks, they've somehow found a way to win.
Right.
And now, realistically, they are actually in contention going into the second half.
And, I think more so for the Saints than the Giants, they had to win this game. If they would have lost this game, it would have been a season ender probably. I mean, they would have been 3-5, squandering a 14-point lead going into the fourth quarter. It would have been a soul crusher for them. So they had to come out of this one. This is one of those swing games, and you and I were talking about it, that in a given season, if you win it, all of a sudden it can have momentum, and you end up looking back at that as a catalyst for what got you to where you're at. And if you lose it, it's the swing game that goes the other way. So this was definitely one the Saints had to have.
And, of course, Saints having some injuries throughout this game. Kikaha, Swan. I know Kyrie Robinson, he probably doesn't look good. He could easily be out for the rest of the year, and it'll move on to Mark Ingram and C.J. Spiller, and they'll probably have to bring in another running back. So, and then how do you go forward with some of these injuries, and even Keenan Lewis still trying to work his way back in?
Yeah, and they've adapted well all year and dealt with these injuries and put it all together. And look, I don't want to say you don't want to look past any game, but you got the Tennessee Titans coming in here next week. That's a team that's struggling offensively. And the way the Saints offense is moving the ball right now, this is looking like the old days again. I think they finally figured out who can do what. Drew Brees said that afterwards. I think they found their identity on offense. They're involving the tight end a lot more. They're running the ball just enough. And their receivers are playing very well right now, and Drew Brees is a master. So I like this team's chances against anybody right now the way they're playing.
And that's amazing that we're saying this, because we thought, 3-4 weeks ago that this thing could easily be over. If they lost to Atlanta, it would have been over. They haven't lost since. So it's pretty amazing and remarkable that this Saints team has really kind of been able to get back in the swing of things, that we thought maybe would be a little better than what we saw earlier this season.
Yeah, it's a credit to them. It's a credit to the coaching staff. And, look, we've talked to these players all year long, and they all said this way back when they said, look, it's coming. They had confidence. And look, we've all heard that before, and you tend to be a little skeptical of it. But they're proven wrong. The skeptics are being proven wrong because they have stuck together. And you could see it when Kyrie Robinson went down. This team is very tight. They all surrounded him on the field, and I think it's helped them get over that 1-3 hump that they started the season with.
When they talk about camaraderie, this team certainly has it, and it's, to me, that's why it's a little different. 4-4 last year, 4-4 this year. You just have a different sense around this team now.
That's a great point. This team, I think, they may not make the playoffs. Who knows? I mean, it's very competitive in the NFC side of things, but you have to be encouraged with the way they're playing. They're going to at least be in contention. There's no question about that, and I agree. It's a totally different feel for this team in this locker room, and you can almost sense they feel the momentum that they've gained. They probably would like to play tomorrow. That's the sense I get. I mean, they really are kind of riding this wave.
Yeah, so look, the Saints are going to be favored to win next week and be 5-4, and it's the first time in a long time we're talking about a winning record for the Saints. So it'll be interesting. You can check out all of our coverage of all of it, post-game coverage and all the coverage leading up to the Titans game here at NOLA.com and, of course, in our print editions of the Times-Picayune. For Jeff Duncan, I'm Larry Holder. Thanks for joining us here at NOLA.com.